This is the History of New Zealand podcast on the Eat to My Own Beat podcast network. Welcome back to the History of New Zealand, episode 12. Farming and mining. The Maori tribes at first sold the land to the settlers, but the government voided the sales in 1840. Not only the government was allowed to purchase land from Maori who received cash, the government bought practically all useful land, then resold it to the New Zealand Company, which promoted immigration or leased it for sheep runs. The company resold the best tracts to British settlers. Its profits were used to pay the travel of the immigrants from Britain. Because of the vast distances involved, the first settlers were self-sufficient farmers. By the late 1840s, however, large-scale sheep stations were exporting large quantities of wool to the textile mills of England. Most of the early settlers were brought over by a program operated by the New Zealand Company and were located in the central region on either side of Cook Strait and at Wellington, Wanganui, New Plymouth, and Nelson. These settlements had access to some of the richest plains in the country, and all after refrigerated ships appeared in 1882, the development into closely settled regions of small-scale farming. Outside these compact settlements were the sheep runs. Pioneer pastoralists, often men with experience as squatters in Australia, leased lands from the government at the annual rate of £5 plus £1 for every 1,000 sheep above the first 5,000. The lease was renewed automatically, which gave the wealthy pastoralists a strong landed interest in and made them the most powerful political force. In all, between 1856 and 1876, 8.1 million acres were sold for £7.6 million, and 2.2 million acres were given to free to soldiers, sailors, and settlers. With an economy based on agriculture, the landscape was transformed from forest to farmland. Gold discoveries in Otago, 1861, and Westland in 1865 caused a worldwide gold rush that more than doubled the population in a short period, from 71,000 in 1859 to 164,000 in 1863. The value of trade increased fivefold, from £2 million to £10 million. As the gold boom ended, colonial treasurer and later from 1873, Premier Julius Vogel borrowed money from British investors and launched in 1870 an ambitious program of public works and infrastructure investment. Together with policy and assisted immigration, successive governments expanded the program with offices across Britain that enticed settlers and gave them and their families a one-way ticket. From about 1865, the economy lapsed into a long depression and resulted withdrawal of British troops, peaking of gold production in 1866. And Vogel's borrowing and associated debt burden, especially on land. Despite a brief boom in wheat, prices for farm products sagged. The market for land had seized up. Hard times led to urban unemployment and exploitative labor conditions in industry. The country lost people through emigration, mostly to Australia. Thank you for listening to the History of New Zealand podcast. We're found on YouTube and anywhere else you could find your normal podcasts. Please like, comment, and subscribe, or find us at www.eattomyownbeat.com.